Jacob was wondering if one of his sons was going to be another Ishmael, which are the Arabs today, or an Esau, which is descendants of Constantine and the Catholic Church, as well as the Christian Church. They teach the ways of Esau. So anyway, he was wondering if one of his sons was going to be that way. So when they responded with the Shema, and he responded with Baruch Shem Kavod Melech Tol Olam Va'ed, blessed be the glorious name of your kingdom forever and ever, he was comforted. And so he was able to continue on giving the prophecy over his 12 sons, all 12 prophecies. Now, what's interesting is, this is following the information that was given, Jacob wished to tell his children when Messiah would come, presumably to comfort them and their descendants during times of exile. But the divine presence deserted him for that moment. Jacob didn't know why. When he found out why, he was comforted. And he felt that the Almighty didn't want them to know, so that they wouldn't set any deadlines, and so that upon hearing the reason for the lapse of the family, Jacob was able to be comforted and know that his children were right with the Almighty. So then he realized that the Almighty did not want them to know the time of the end to be known to them. Israel would find its comfort in confidence with the Almighty, obedience to the Almighty, which is emunah, confidence and trust, and performance of the Almighty's Torah, and the 2 stone tablets, the 10 sayings. And so, going with that, I'd like you, if you want, to read the rest of chapter 49, because it's really good reading. Get your Tanakh, or if you have to go online for Tanakh.org, you can go on there for Genesis chapter 49 and read it. It also has information about the prophecies and what is over in Israel for this time period coming up. So anyway, moving forward, we're looking at the prophecies in Isaiah. Isaiah is an interesting book, because Isaiah is in the same time that Daniel was in. He has prophecies similar to what Daniel has, just in more broad explanation. More about the Moshiach, and more about other anointed characters in the Torah, such as Koresh, which we talked about in the last video. One of them has to do with a prophecy that was given to King Ahaz. And it's said, because King Ahaz was being a smart aleck to prophet Isaiah, so he was scorning the prophet, and he was scorning a blessing from the Almighty. So prophet Isaiah rebuked him and said, you don't scorn my Almighty, and you don't scorn me, but it doesn't matter that you scorn me, don't scorn my Almighty God, Avinu Malkeinu, our Father, our King. There's a prophecy that says, a sign. The Almighty asked the Almighty asked Ahaz, Queen Jezebel's husband, to ask for a sign. This is the one that's used quite often. It says, behold, the young woman is pregnant and will bear a son, and she will name him Emmanuel. Now, Emmanuel is an interesting name here because it means Shekinah to you, the divine presence to you. And that means the divine presence would go with us in our time of exile. And so the following says, he will eat cream and honey as soon as he knows to abhor evil and choose good. For before the child will know to abhor evil and choose good, the land of the two kings whom you fear will be abandoned. Later the Merciful One will bring upon you and upon your people and upon your father's family days such have not come since the day Ephraim turned away from Judah, the king of Assyria's invasion. It shall be on that day that the Merciful One will whistle to the fly that it is far away end of Egypt's rivers, and to the bee that is in the land of Assyria. These are talking about military soldiers. They will come, and all will encamp in the desolate valleys, in the crags of the rocks, and upon all the brushes and all the bushes. On that day the Merciful One will shave with a large razor those who crossed the Euphrates River with the king of Assyria. The head of the hair of the legs, and the beard as well will be destroyed. That's talking about the king being the head, hair of the legs being the soldiers, and you can get the idea for the rest. It shall be on that day that each man will raise a heifer and 2 sheep, but it shall be that from the abundant production of milk he will eat cream, and whoever is left in the midst of the land will eat cream and honey. It will happen on that day, wherever there had been 1,000 vines worth 1,000 silver pieces, it will become thorns and weeds. One will be able to enter there only with arrows and a bow, for all the land will be thorns and weeds, but all the mountains that are hoed with a hoe. The fear of thorns and weeds will not come there, but they will be for grazing of oxen and the roaming of sheep. Then we're going to step down for a few bits. It says, the Merciful One said to me, take a large scroll and write on it in clear script, plunder, hastens, spoil, quicken. I appointed trustworthy witnesses for myself, Uriah the Kohen and Zechariah son of Yerebiachai. I approached the prophetess, and she conceived and bore a son. And the Merciful One said to me, name him Maher-Shalal Hashbaz, plunder hastens, spoil quicken. For before the child knows how to say my father and my mother, the wealth of Damascus and the spoils of Samaria will be carried off before the king of Assyria. The Merciful One spoke further to me, saying, because the people has rejected the gently flowing water of Shiloah, different than Shiloh, and has rejoiced with Rezin and the son of Remaliah, therefore, behold, the Merciful One is bringing upon them the mighty and abundant waters of the Euphrates River, the king of Assyria and all his glory, and it will rise above all its channels and overflow all its banks. It will pass through Judah, flooding it as it passes, and reaching to the neck, and it widespread will be the full breadth of your land, O Emmanuel. Going forward, we see right here where Isaiah has conception with his wife, prophetess, and they bear a son. And the other one that they have, because they have 2 sons, the other one is Emmanuel. So here's the fulfillment of that prophecy. And it talks about going forward, and the rest of the prophecy, when you look more into Isaiah, you find out there's more about the prophecy of the Moshiach now. So that was a prophecy that the Christians use in their text for naming their Messiah, and that is incorrect, because Emmanuel was Isaiah's son, not from the Christian text. So, looking forward, we can see that one prophecy has been misinterpreted by a religious organization. And that religious organization has used that prophecy incorrectly. And then the other organizations take it and then they fly with it because they think it's true, because someone else wrote it in their book. Even Islam take it for the Quran, and they think that Jesus is a prophet. They believe that Jesus is a prophet, but they don't believe that he's the Son of God. Now, there's a lot of Islam, there's a lot of today that are coming to Christianity, and that's okay with me. I don't care, whatever they want to do. I just don't want them desecrating our book. We are the people of the book. This is the Torah. This is the prophets. This is what the Almighty gave us. And no man has the right to misinterpret it, to rewrite it for their own gain. So, you have a choice to make. Now, the Gentiles have the 7 laws of Noah. Just as Noah was given the rainbow for a covenant, the 7 colors of the rainbow, well, there's the 7 laws of Noah, the 7 good deeds of Noah. And those are for the Gentiles. We have the 10 sayings. We have 9 good deeds to follow. And when you take something from the Almighty and you desecrate it, that is blasphemy. And that is an abomination. So, I will say it straight out. Christianity and Islam are committing the abomination. They are desolating the Torah. They are corrupting the Almighty's word. That's where the word wicked comes in. To twist. They are taking the Torah and they are twisting it for their own advantage, for their own gain, for their own control, for manipulation. As me, I don't have an agenda. I don't care what they do. But I do care what they do with the Torah. They can tell as many people they want their lies. That's totally up to them. But don't desecrate my Father's word. And don't desecrate with Judah, Israel. We are chosen to serve, not just the chosen people. We are chosen to serve, chosen to be obedient, chosen to do. There is no such thing as original sin. I know there's a passage in the book of Psalms, and King David wrote it, but that has nothing to do with what they are saying that it is. It says, I was conceived in sin. That has nothing to do with original sin. That was something that he was talking about. And today, when you look at Islam and ISIS, they will claim and tell you that they are conceived to fight, to kill, to commit murder. I mean, there's thousands of them. I was watching a video tonight. There's thousands of them, children, young men, who are ready to go to battle against Israel because they have been brainwashed. Just like Christianity. Brainwashing. Telling somebody that something is true when it's not. You won't hear us Jews say that with the Torah. So anyway, think about it. Don't take our prophecies and twist them around for your own benefit. That is a transgression against the Almighty, of which you will pay for. And remember, Rosh Hashanah is coming up, and so is Yom Kippur. And this one is very powerful and very strong for all of the world. And if you are a Jew who has walked away from Judaism, come home. Come home. Come back to the Torah. Now, I'm going to say the Shema. He who formed light and created darkness. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.